These are the notes for Algebra 1A, Section 03, Operations with Integers. The first thing is to define a few things. Absolute value is a number's distance from zero. This is always positive because we're talking about distance, and distance cannot be negative. So for example, if I was looking at a number line and I have 0 right in the middle, and I have the numbers 2, 4, 6, and so on, or I have the numbers -2, -4, -6, and so on, and I'm talking about the distance from 0, we're just talking about the number of units we are from 0. So the +2 distance from 0 is 2 units. But the number -2, the distance from 0, is also 2 units. So I could go 2 units this way, or I could go 2 units that way. Still has the same absolute value. Doesn't matter what direction you're traveling. Opposites. Every positive number can be paired with a negative number, and those two things are opposites of each other. 5 and -5 are opposites. For your additive inverse, so if you have a number and its opposite and you add them together, their sum is going to be 0. So those are what additive inverse is of. Any number that when you add it to another number gives you 0, those two numbers are called additive inverses. Okay, and then talking about addition and subtraction with integers. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this right here because this is very important. Remember that a minus a negative is going to become a positive. So when you're adding your integers, minus a negative is always going to become a positive. So if I have 4 minus -5, this is going to turn into 4 plus 5. Sometimes that's overlooked, but so make sure you are paying attention to that. And then in order to figure out the signs of your sum or your difference, the way I always think about it is, first of all, if your signs are the same, then you are going to find the sum and you're going to use that sign. So if the signs are the same, find the sum, use the sign. If the signs are different, you're going to find the difference and use the sign of the larger number. When I say the larger number, I'm talking about its absolute value, not considering the sign. So we're talking about the absolute value of it. Okay, and then for multiplication and division, if you have the signs are the same. So for example, if I was multiplying 7 times 12, that would give me 84. Because anytime you do a positive times a positive, this is going to result in a positive. Same is true with division. If I have 81 over 9, 81 divided by 9 is 9. It's a positive 9 because if I do a positive divided by a positive, this is going to give me a positive. The same is true with two negatives. If I'm multiplying -5 times -3, this is going to give me a positive 15 because a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive. And if I do division, -25 divided by -5, again, the signs are the same here. Negative divided by negative, this is going to give me a positive 5. Negative divided by a negative has a negative result. So no matter if it's the quotient or the product, if your signs are the same, a positive and a positive or a negative and a negative, the answer is always going to be positive. What if our signs are different? If I have a positive number like a 13, and I'm going to multiply that times a negative number, -13, this is going to give me -169. Because a positive times a negative is always going to give me a negative. When your signs are different, you get a negative result. Same is true with your division. 100 divided by negative 20, this is going to give me negative 5 because a positive over a negative is going to give me a negative. And it doesn't matter what order you do it in. If your negative number is first, so what if I did negative 7 times a positive 6? It's still going to give me a negative 42 for this one. So it doesn't matter what order. A negative times a positive is still going to give me a negative. Same with the quotient. If you had the negative number on top and the positive number on bottom, it doesn't matter. The answer is still negative. A negative over a positive is going to give you a negative. So long story short, if the signs are different, so we have a positive and a negative or a negative and a positive, the product or the quotient is going to be negative.